This piece does sort of speak between art, landscape, sculpture, architecture, and when I sort of conceptualized it, I wanted it to be a showpiece, something that people would come up to in the landscape and say, what is this? So often parts of the landscape are hidden or people just don't expect, they just sort of see it as background, right? So one of those things that I like to see in the landscape is something that does sort of draw your attention and says, oh, someone designed this, someone created this sort of piece. But it's beautiful. I mean, I think it is a showpiece. It is the centerpiece of the metal garden, the cocktail garden, and it's something people want to kind of come and see. It's a presence in the landscape, which was very much on purpose when I designed it. I thought people would come over to see it, and they definitely do.
Yeah, I fully agree with you, and I would add that when we have seen the people walking around and seeing it, one of the expression after the wow is, I never seen anything like this before.
No.
It's so unique. I mean, it's flying. I'm gonna fly at home because it looks like like it's taking off.
Yeah.
So it is really something that is, and I've said a couple of times, it's like the crown of the landscape, because it's something that is on top of what is already done, that is part of the normal landscape, but it actually calls the attention, calls the eye, and makes the visitor or the end user dream. And I think is very inspiring in those terms.
Well, when I knew I was going to be doing this for Kips Bay, I wanted something that would be a statement. You know, there's always some special pieces, a lot of artisans work on projects here, so I wanted something that would be attention holding. You know, I knew it would be pretty central, kind of given the location on the property. And I wanted it to be really special. I wanted it to be something that was about the air and the wind, the property is on the water. And I wanted it to be something too, I mean, we're in Palm Beach, right? People enjoy cocktails, so I thought it would be fun to have an element where people would open it up and then there'd be a party aspect to it. I came up with the idea for the Serafim bar on a plane in Portugal. I was flying over, and I really wanted to create a functional kind of an outdoor piece that had a artistic quality to it. And we had been chatting, I think, about a pool railing for another one of my projects, and I was wondering if you were interested, and I think I reached out to your daughter Valentina, and she said, you know, maybe this sounds like something we might want to do with feathers and birds and things like that being our motif. So I think that's how it really started, yeah.
Yeah, I think that when I received this first information and the idea to have a piece of art that was functional, and we talk about the possibility of that it was inspired in an angel with feathers, and it really clicked my mind from day zero, the fact that it could be actual mobile.
Yeah.
That it will flip, moving.
Yeah.
So we have the wings moving and the eye, and originally, remember we did a head?
Yeah.
Thinking that a third set of wings going up all the way to the top. And that evolved into what we have today, something sculpture, and at the same time functional.
Yeah. Well, the piece does change from different times of the day. So at night it closes up, and the wings are you know, sort of protecting it. And then the daytime we open it up every morning for visitors. So in a way, it's sort of like a clock. It tells you what time it is. You know, is it morning? Is it afternoon? Is it evening? The light changes on the sculpture as well, so depending on the time of the day, it's sort of more shiny or it's more sort of bronze looking. But I think the functionality and the changing of it is what makes it such a beautiful sculptural piece. It's not always the same. It's changing from moment to moment, you know, in the sun, in the clouds, in the wind, all that kind of thing.
And actually the place where it was located, when it's closed, you can just like walk around, and then when it's open, you create like a small barrier. And from one side, definitely looks like a sculpture, yeah. And from the other side, it looks like a bar. So when you have the opportunity to just see it in 360 degrees, is very interesting because it changes from the location, and it shows, depending on the perspective, a different part of the sculpture and the bar at the same time.
Well, when I first sort of originated the sketch, and I'm sure you remember, it was hexagonal, right? Six-sided. and very sort of geometric. And then as we went through it, we became more comfortable, I think, doing these sort of organic shapes, and we talked about the wing placement and where that would go.
And when we started the process of sketching and designing, we thought originally that it would have two sides, and it will be open on both sides, and have, instead of 6 wings, to have 12. And when we really started designing the structure and understanding how it was going to function, we determined that it was a great idea to have 2 fronts. So that was the result of something that we designed and fabricate and made and sculpt at the same time. So this was not a project with chop drawings or with very detailed drawings, but a process. Yeah, those were sketches.
Forth, my favorite part of people coming to see the bar is they see the front or the back, whatever we're going to say the front or the back is. Then they come around to the other side. They say, "Oh wow,
wow!"
People
it's a bar.
It's a bar.
Wow. It's a wow. The wow.
It's a bar. So they're so excited to see that it's something more than they expected. So I mean, it's been fun to sort of see it in the space too, because it is a little bit different than I expected. You know, you do get to see it from all sides, but you do get a very different version of it from the house than when you're seeing it from the cocktail garden area.
It was surprising because I didn't know anything about the Serafim, so we had to do a research, and our team did a research, and you send us a little bit of information about what you had top of your mind, and how to translate these lyrics, I would say, this poetry, this not a physical thing, that it was just inspiration, but like coming from the air, very celestial, and to bring it into pieces. You also had a perspective of having something more deco, a little bit more modern, in the fact that this was going to be like the crown of the landscape, that had a lot of metal. So sketching and then working on top of what was sketched. So the bottom set of wings connects the angel to the earth, and that's how the bottom section of the Serafim is actually covered, and it has the patina. The second set of wings that actually holds the bar itself are the ones that opens and welcomes, and that's what holds the bar. And the upper wings, they protect the eye, which is the connection to the universe.
Well, the colors were important, and like we said, that as it comes up from the ground, the patina start with sort of a verdigris color, and then go into sort of the more bronze and the browns, and then eventually, as we said, we'll get into sort of the bright colors, and you used a clear finish, I believe, to keep the inside very, brass and bronze and bright colored.
Yeah, from the beginning we discussed about having different colors, different patinas. The selection of the material was bronze because to me is like a precious metal, and when we start working on how to select the colors, we the first thing we discuss is that when the Serafim is open, it should be brighter. The light should come from the inside.
And then the glass too is really important too, because we wanted the light to come from the inside. And I think that's a really important part of it. Is it's not dark when you open it. It's bright. It's spiritual. It's happy. It's creating this sort of warm, enveloping feeling that is fun to kind of do, and people enjoy opening it up.
Well, the challenge was from day zero. When Valentina told me that we have 3 months, less than 3 months, 2.5, and it was in the middle of the holidays, I said, well, it's going to be tough. So it was a combination of 2 things. One, to have the right people at the right moment in this short period of time. And the second was the fact that, like I said before, there was not chop drawings. We were designing as we go.
On the fly.
So we were actually designing, and in some of the pieces that are, like a piece like that would probably take 6 to 9 months to make it, and we made it in 3 months. So I moved literally my studio and my office and my computer and my assistant to the shop. And during 45 days, almost 2 months, I was there making sure that the little detail was in the right spot, because there was no drawing. So the direction and the connection with you, we had so many video calls showing you, this is what I would like to do, what do you think, the color, the texture. It was very exciting.
It was an exciting process, and I think seeing your artisans work at it while we were designing was super scary at times. I think, to be like, oh, is this the right direction, and are we doing this right thing? But it was great to be able to video call and just use the technology to sort of see, oh wow, this is being made as I almost design it on paper or on CAD or whatever. That was great, and also the story of getting it here. Colombia is the biggest producer of roses for the United States market. And I kept asking, is it coming? Is it coming? And I guess the shippers will ship out every single rose from Colombia for Valentine's Day first. So I believe the piece arrived on the flight on Valentine's Day. So that was extremely exciting and very appropriate with the wings and with the angel kind of.
Yeah, it actually flew out surrounded by flowers, which is very celestial.
Yes.
It was fly out.
So wonderful.
Yeah. Thrilled with the results, and I think that there's a lot of people inspired and a lot of people taking pictures and dreaming. Landscape, architecture, design, art, that's a little bit of what we do on an everyday basis, make people dream and be able to grab something that is part of the dream.